You see, just like a high school, the most popular kids usually not the most brilliant or the most smartest kid in the high school, and that plays exactly the same as ETFs. Some ETFs are very popular, but not that they are they're the best ETFs. Some of the other ETFs, they're just on the background and people don't talk about them a lot. And that's kind of ETF I'm going to actually reveal today, because if you invest in this ETF, you're going to generate a lot of money. And actually, if you invest only $50,000 with in this ETF, I mean, you can actually uh, be a millionaire just within few years. And I'm going to show the calculation. I'm going to show the projection of this ETF, and we're going to talk more about how you can actually generate money right now. So, but first, before going to that, I'm going to show you this. YieldMax ETF announced monthly distribution PYPY, which is 100%. That's like a lot. And of course, there's a Misty, micro strategy. There is a Fiat, is 100%. There's a Coney, 91%. There's a Square, and other ETFs. I'm going to show you here, and this of course was today. And when are you going to expect this distribution? Of course, ex dividend date was of course is tomorrow, and the record date is tomorrow. They're going to pay on the 9th of September. But look, we can see Tesla. Tesla is still one of the most highest yield of all time. They always paid higher yield. So right now it's 70. But I'm going to show you the brand new ETFs that they just came out to the market few just like last month. But they start paying. The first one was Alibaba, which is Babo, and I made a video about this ETF, guys. This is a right call on Alibaba stock, and they paid actually 70 70 cents. So that's a lot of yield for the first time. And of course, as I mentioned, Alibaba is going to be paying a lot because Alibaba stock itself is very volatile. And the other ETF that came out just last month, and they paid, this is YQQ. This is YieldMax Short, the Nasdaq 100, paid about 42 cents this time. And the one that I haven't paid so far is this came out just I think within this month, and this is Taiwanese Semiconductor, which is TSMY. So far all the ETF have paid dividend at least once or twice, except the TMSY, and I'm hoping of course next month they're going to pay. But the one that paid highest and was kind of more surprising was PYPY, which is PayPal. It did pay about 101. This is the first time they paid this highest. $1.61. So that's like a lot of money. The other one that paid a lot in terms of yield was, we can see here Coney. Of course, Coney always pays one of the highest paying ETFs when it comes to YieldMax ETFs. And the other one paid a lot was MicroStrategy. Ray paid at $1.85. And if you want to make a comparison between this month, you can go to their website. You can see between last month and this month. And I'm going actually to make a spreadsheet that compare the yield of this month and this month, and of course the months prior, and we can see the difference between the increase or the cut of this ETF. That's kind of spreadsheet I'm going to developed. So just make sure, if you first time, just make sure you subscribe on this channel, and then I'm going to give you this type of update all the time. And the other one we will forget actually paid dividend this time is a Fiat. This is a short coin based ETF itself, right? So I mean, or stock. Look, it did pay 100%. I think this is the second time actually Fiat paid. So these are one of the highest ETFs. So if you want to know which one pays higher, you can just go on YieldMax website, or you can come here and you can see which one pays more. So if you want to target just the high paying ETFs, you can do that, but that's not the smartest move. Now let's look at our ETF that I'm going to cover today, and this is YieldMax PYPL Option Income Strategy ETF, PYPY. This is a PayPal ETF that, of course, right, synthetic cover call on PayPal. So the good thing I want to show here, guys, I'm going to max and show you why, because I know a lot of people say, well, this ETF has gone down a lot. So I'm going to show you the price you see here today. This ETF has returned massive, because when it came out, it was only like a $20, right? If we look at that was beginning September 26th, or if we go all the way down to that, it was only $20. It came out to the market. Right now is 19, so there's only like a less than $1 loss. And of course, after market here, we can see it went up to 1941. What I want to show you is this, guys. Look at this ETF. This ETF at one point it was at $15. It went all the way to $14 at one point, right? But it did recover from 14 to where it is right now. So this is a sign. You see, it's a bigger sign to learn that these ETFs, these income ETFs, can actually go down and they can recover. So if you pick them at the right time, guess what, man? If you pick up at that time, $15 right now is 19, you'd have made almost $5, right? So that's a big lesson you can learn here. If we look at that was only July 26, 2024, and then they recovered because the stock itself or PayPal itself is coming up. So far 52-week ranges between 15.56 to 21.15, and the volume is very high. So this is just a chart, and if we go to YieldMax website, we can see here disregard this yield is 22 because it hasn't been updated yet from the current yield, and I'm going to show you, of course, the average yield that they have. This is all details about this ETF, and we can see here they've paid a lot of, since the first time they paid was in of course November 16, 2023, because it came out. I'll show you inception of this fund. Inception was September 25th, so end of September last year, and this is September, so it's coming to about almost a year since it was incepted. And if you look at the net asset under management is 25.74 million, so it doesn't have as much money like other ETFs, and that's the reason because we don't hear, people don't talk about this ETF, right? And that's why most people don't even invest in this, because it kind of go under the radar, right? If we look at the expense ratio, it's only 0.99, same as any other of these YieldMax ETF. It's just about 1%, and they trade on New York Stock Exchange. And if we go to has returned about 30 within that 10 months, has returned about 30%. If we look at the NAV itself has returned about 31.19, so it's pretty good return. So disregard the price of that. Of course, he holds this bunch of treasuries, and for writing cover call, because they do write they do write calls on PayPal synthetically. They don't hold stock directly. So about that. So now let's go to our projection of income, and I've showed you here since inception, which was in September, and then they start paying in November. Since then, they've been paying. We can see here, there's inconsistent payment, but that's to be expected. Any of these ETF, that's how they do. They don't pay every month the same, right? But what we can do here, we can do average of all of that, including the dividend that they just announced, which they're going to pay in 3 days from now. Or 4 days from now. That was $1.62, and that was the highest, by the way, because other one came closer to that, was 94 cents, and that was in August 5th, that was in May 8th, 2024. All right, if we look at distribution so far, if we include everything, they've paid about $7.57. So if you invest in this ETF from the beginning, this is how much you would have gained per share, right? So if you add that price per share, our share, because the price of today is 19, so if you add the amount that they've paid so far, share price of PayPal will be, or PYPY, will be 26.59. So that's why you have to be careful whenever you want to calculate. Just don't look at the price, but you have also to look at the dividend that you have accumulated. If we go with the average, it's 69, and that will give us 44% using the price of today, which is 1902. 44, guys, that's quite a bit of money, right? And here, of course, I put AUM. This is asset under management that they have for this particular just ETF, right? 25 million. People don't talk about this type of ETFs, and I felt like it's very important for you to know this type of ETF, because you can be making a lot of money and not just going to the popular ETFs. Again, you don't want to miss this type of video, so just make sure you subscribe, and if you find this video very valuable, just make sure you give me a like, and you can also hit that little super like button. Now, if we look at income projection, is 25 in 2024. If you invested $25,000 as of today, because what I usually do, I paint two pictures. The first picture is like you have the money today, you want to invest in this ETF, you have either one of these amount here, right? And the other method I'm going to show you is that, which is this one here. This is a method I also use, which you have $50,000 today, but you don't want your money now. You just want to buy and reinvest all the money. How much you're going to have within 10 years, which I put right here, 10 years. We can also put 20. But let's start with this example one here. So if you have $25,000, you just want to invest and receive amount of money from this ETF, you're going to get 900 only. And that will give you annual income of $10,000. You double that, of course, you're going to double that. If you put 75,000, you're going to get 32. Now, if you put 100,000, you're going to get 43 a year. And if you want to retire today in a medium to small city in the US, a lot of city, even Minnesota or whatever, it's a very cheap in those places. You can actually retire, or Michigan or something like that, right? 65,000 will be tons of money. 150 only, you'll be able to retire because you're going to get 5,000 a month. I'm not saying that you should put all your money in this ETF, but I'm just giving an example of this projection based on the current price we have and the average that they have paid so far. And then if you want a lot of money, of course, this is a spreadsheet I made. The more you put, the more you're going to get. If you want to put 300,000 in just one ETF, right, you can have 130. By the way, just leave a comment if you want me to make an example of multiple ETFs. So if you want to combine a bunch of them together and how much you can generate using the same method. So that's method number one, how you can generate a lot of money using PYPY. So the amount I can say it will be safer for you to retire. Maybe it will be about 200,000, because that will give you 85. Or we'll start with 150. I think 65. It depends on where you live. You can be able to retire with this one. But if you go to 300, that's of course 10,000 a month. It's quite a bit of money for a lot of people, and that will give you 130. Now, if we do on average calculation that we did, our average dividend or average price was going to give us an average of distribution yield of 44%. And that within just 10 years, guys, you would have your portfolio is going to grow, because every year you invest. And this, we've calculated with all the inflation. You see the yield comes down from 44 to 38. It comes down. End of the day, guess what? By end of 10 years, you're going to have 1,118,000. So it's a pretty good, almost 1,120,000. That's how you can generate money using PYPY. And this is a calculation I want to show you two ways where they can invest in this one. So these are the ETFs that go under the radar. Most people don't talk about it, and I thought it's very important for you to know about this ETF. Again, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you find any value in this this video that I made today. Till we meet again next video that I'm going to be making very soon. Bye bye.